Good morning, you guys. Today we are going to be talking about the meeting between Trump and Putin. Now, for many people, there's going to be a lot of feelings involved in this, but this is a very significant meeting. What everyone needs to understand is this is not only a meeting of negotiation, this is a meeting between irregular warfare and conventional warfare. If you don't understand the two different types of terms, wars recently have been fought with irregular warfare for decades now. However, our world has been fought with conventional warfare for centuries. Our world, the world, not a country, not a person, not a dictator, not any of these things. Conventional warfare has been along for a very long time. And I'm going to sit here, I'm going to enjoy my coffee with you guys because it is 8 a.m. here. I think it's about 6 a.m. in Alaska. And there is going to be a meeting of negotiations. And these negotiations are a very big deal. I want to clear my throat when we talk about this. Putin instigated the first conventional war over there in almost 80 years. And Zelensky has already come out on the news saying that Trump has no reason to have any meeting with him, that there is no negotiation. The part that's very concerning on this is let's put this into a prepping term. Not politics, not feelings. I don't do feelings, guys, when it comes down to this. War is war at the end of the day, and war does not care about your feelings. It doesn't. War has been fought for centuries. None of us are older than a century here, okay? So just so you understand, war does not care about your feelings. It does not care about the sides. It does not care about your feelings. Irregular warfare has been performed like, the war against terrorism and the war against, it's been fought in so many different ways. But conventional war, we're talking boots to the ground, physical. I am going to take this. Think of the game Risk. That is going to be my territory. You have nothing to say about it. And now I'm going to put it into prepping terms for you guys. Every one of you guys that watches this channel preps. What happens when a neighbor down the road says, I want what you have? This is a conversation we have in the prepping field every day. What happens when they say, I want what you have? Thanks for prepping for me. I'm coming to get it. You're going to fight, right? You're going to fight. That is one of the reasons why I say you prep in guns and ammunition. You prep in a way to protect yourself. That is a topic I've talked over and over and over. I try to beat it into your guys' head of a gunfight is only going to last as long as your bullets. I'm going to tell you that straight. I'm going to be straight to the point. You can only protect if you can protect your own stuff. Well, that term comes along with war also. There is negotiations of, is there going to be territorial swaps? And Zelensky says, there will not be any territorial swapping. But then you have Putin who says, everything that Russian boots has touched and I have conquered is mine. And that is the part of conventional warfare compared to, I'm going to call it millennial drama. I'm a millennial, okay? Zelensky is like, no, but I could take it back. If somebody comes to raid your home, are you going to be able to take it back? I'm not saying the entire country. Once again, I said feelings are pushed aside in this conversation. I am talking just raw, gritty to the truth. If there is a negotiation that's put in and says what you have taken, that's better than a country losing their entire country. But nobody is going to see it that way. feelings are going to outweigh. And unfortunately, this is a conventional war. Do we know what's going to be discussed? I mean, every news outlet right now is giving you a play-by-play of Putin is now on the east side of Russia. Now he's making his moves towards Alaska. Trump has left the White House from DC and is heading towards Alaska. You understand, like, this is very big. This is a very big situation. This is much bigger than you or I's feelings or thoughts in it. You have two world leaders meeting, trying to negotiate. And do I think Trump's ready for a negotiation like that? I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people can't wrap their mind around conventional war. Conventional war. Understand D-Day. D-Day was a bunch of information. It was actually ingenious how that plan came to play. Was misinformation that they said that they were going to target a specific channel, and that's how the U.S. was going to invade. However, it was literally misinformation, and that's what gave that extra jump, that extra push on D-Day. And D-Day was conventional warfare. It was boots to ground, conventional warfare, that final push. And that is the problem that you don't see when NATO and all these other EU talking about it, is conventional warfare has been fought for a very long time. It has been fought for centuries. The Romans, conventional warfare. Putin is doing conventional warfare. Now, the problem that people do not understand, and I feel like the prepping community, we do understand this fully, is with conventional warfare, what is past conventional warfare? He is doing a very traditional style war. But let's say the conventional warfare is not going well. What is something that Putin has in anger, in the Kremlin? You know, I need you guys to understand, people don't like to lose. That's what it comes down to. That is what it comes down to on this. So I'm getting my thoughts on it before anything is even posted on social media, on news outlets, anywhere else, is people don't like to lose, and they will fight dirty. And I'm talking conventional warfare is pretty much straight to the point. We are going to take this. You do not like it. That's tough. Zelensky saying nobody else has any right to negotiate his country. I'll rip the Band-Aid off. You are where you are in this conventional warfare because you did not have the supplies needed to protect your own country in a time of war. That is where allies come in. That is where the proxy war came into play. So yes, if there is a way to have a ceasefire, there may have to be some type of negotiation. But Zelensky doesn't want any negotiation. I don't even know if Putin truly wants any negotiation. It's just, they're literally just trying to stick out any olive branch of, okay, because you know what comes next after that conventional warfare? If somebody loses, there's nukes. I'll say it. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off the skin. I don't really care on any feelings that are involved in this. Because we know if the tables were turned in the U.S. and we were in a conventional warfare, and somebody gets on me and goes, Japanese ever touched our soil? Yes, they did. Japan. And guess what? We nuked it. Okay? I want you to understand. Conventional warfare, and then there's an escalation. Okay? So I call it irregular warfare is at the very bottom. This is, you have your escalation of force. Anybody who served overseas in the Middle East understands what escalation of force is. Oh my gosh. Could we have NATO and the EU and leaders all come together and try to make a thing of like, we're going to play by some sort of rules, but you have to play by rules, but terrorists don't have to play by rules. Ugh. Sorry, don't get me started on escalation of force. Conventional warfare has taken that part out. Do you understand that? They've taken that little safety, little snuggie of, hey, shout, warning shot. Conventional warfare does not play those games. We saw it in World War II. We're seeing it currently today. If Zelensky doesn't want to meet, and he already said he doesn't want to meet, and he is not negotiating, understand the only way physically for Zelensky to gain an upper hand is to have somebody else pay and fund his war. His war on his side, okay? I'm not saying he started the war. We all know Russia started the war. Russia isn't asking other people to pay. Russia is playing conventional games. Putin's literally playing a game of Risk. He's like, hey, China, we're friends. North Korea, hey, we're friends. Remember, they didn't invite you to the round table. Okay. That is what is happening. It is a massive game of Risk right now. But the part that people, when they get their feelings involved, is war does not care about your feelings. It does not care about my feelings. It does not care about your feelings. And when it comes down to the prepping world, if you are prepping with your feelings, and that is one of the reasons why I say World War III is very close. I've said it on news outlets. I've literally said we are teetering a game. So there's no negotiation. It's a snub off. Nothing happens. There is no negotiation. And then everyone else gets involved in this war because they want it to stop. Then escalates the war. And what happens when somebody loses a war that's not good at losing? Nukes. I'll say it. World War II, we nuked. We did. Hiroshima. We did it. Is there life there afterwards? Yes. Was it an area that has not been able to be inhabited for hundreds of years? No. But the more escalation that continues, the deeper this gets. And I'm losing my voice a little bit. We are in very unprecedented times. Is Putin going to teach Trump about negotiation when it comes to war? Because I'm going to tell you from my standpoint, from my home, from prepping my own home. You're only as good as your last bullet. Okay? We prep in everything. We train. We do tactical drills. My husband, us, our community. I mean, this is a constant thing. Because what happens when somebody bigger, larger, says, I want what you have? I got kids. I got 3 kids. I will never. I am telling you right now that no. Same with my husband. Nope. What we do for our family and for our kids. Things are escalating very, very quickly. And this could be a big lesson. He could be being taught a lesson that he doesn't even realize. He might not be there for a negotiation. I've talked about it. All the bad things that could happen with this meetup. You have a leader that's in a current war who has been completely isolated. Has purposely isolated himself. Meeting. That's a threat in itself. Trump thinks that he can read somebody by just walking into a room. He might be able. I mean, the man does a lot of business negotiations, but the man has also never been to war. War is war. At the end of the day, it doesn't care about your feelings. Bad people will do bad things. And I've read the remarks Putin has given for the last 24 hours. He has a point. Everything, if he is playing conventional war games, you have 2 countries. One country is starting to push in on another, aka Russia, okay? And he has taken this line right here. In conventional war, he is claiming that is his. Understand that. This isn't feelings. This is conventional war that has been fought for a very long time. Hitler did the same. He occupied cities inside of other countries, and it took another show of force to remove, exterminate, and get rid of those soldiers out of those specific locations. Understand, conventional war is conventional war. The war on terrorism was not conventional war. That was irregular warfare. We couldn't tell. That was one of the hardest parts about that war, is you couldn't tell where an enemy line was, because it was literally like boop, 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 boop. There wasn't conventional war there. It was being fought in a new way. And that's what made it really hard. Conventional warfare is, I'm going to take this. You either stop me and win, or I win. That is it. So curiosity of how this negotiation, this world negotiation, this is something that could alter the way you prep in general. Understanding if there is no negotiation, there is no maybe a ceasefire. I really doubt that there's going to be a ceasefire. He is fighting conventional games, and he really believes that the moment his boots touch a land, that is his land. What does that mean for the rest of the world? It means when somebody loses, they could escalate. We should already know that. I don't prep gas masks, potassium iodine, because I think that world leaders are going to be good losers. I prep that because we live in a very uncertain time. I'm not sure what this meeting of today is going to hold. I hope you guys drop your comments down below and let me know. Do you think that there's going to be a negotiation? Or do you think that he's going in that mindset of, I'm in a conventional war. I don't know what you want me to say. Once my feet touch here, that's mine. I'm very curious of how you guys feel on that, because we have negotiations. You have Zelensky. He's fighting a war, but he has to have all this help. What happens when Putin changes his tone? Understand, in conventional war, you aid another country, you're involved physically in the war. That is one of the reasons why I was like, proxy wars are war. Sooner or later, they turn into an actual physical war. They turn into an actual physical war. Proxy wars can only stay proxy for so long. And I don't care about your feelings in it. I don't care about my feelings in it. War is war at the end of the day, and it minuses out your feelings. And the part is I know tooth and nail, I would fight to my very last breath to protect what I have prepared, what my family has prepared, what our community has prepared. War is war at the end of the day. And it's very valid when people say, well, I'm just going to come and take what you have. I'm going to come get you. Okay? Well, some people prepare for those kind of wars. Some people don't. What have you done? Do you think that there's going to be a negotiation? Do you think Putin's going to just laugh at Trump? I think that this can go in 9 different ways. Scenario 1. They have some sort of negotiation over a ceasefire, and there is some timeline created. This is scenario number 1 in my eyes. Zelensky and me will have a ceasefire between this and this and this, but then there is going to actually have to be an actual real negotiation of land swapping. Okay, that's where I feel like this is going to end up. Ultimately, I feel like because he is fighting a very conventional war, he is very conventional in this aspect of war. He wants what he wants. You can't really negotiate around that. But his negotiations of maybe no more sanctions on this, allow us to have this, maybe we can come up. I mean, ultimately, I think Trump's going in there to try to create a nuclear deal of, hey, no matter how this war goes, we're not going to be firing nukes, right, buddy? Okay, hey, they're not really buddies, guys. I'm just using it as in context of like, you understand that these verbal treaties are literally only written words. You put a whole lot of thought and process in on these verbal treaties. It only takes pushing a button. So I hope you guys are having as uneasy of a morning, or maybe an easier, a happier morning than I am, because I've been thinking about this all week. Today is the day. We're going to find out if there's any negotiations to be made. If the meeting happens, I mean, I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to, I physically think it's going to happen. I just don't know if people understand the actual real negotiation of conventional warfare compared to irregular warfare. Conventional warfare is a different beast. And we are about to see how that plays out. As always, stay aware, stay prepared, and always have your head on a swivel. I will catch you on the next one. Tell me down below what you think is going to be negotiated. If anything's going to be negotiated. If it's just going to be sanctions. Is it going to be no sanctions? Land swaps? I don't know. Things could go really bad having two of these leaders meeting in a set location. People who have been wanting World War III could instigate something so catastrophic that our minds aren't even prepared to understand. The only thing I understand more clear than anything is irregular warfare and conventional warfare. And they are in a conventional warfare. So negotiations normally are not going to happen, you guys. It is literally physically move me from this location or nothing at all. It has nothing to do with our feelings. It has nothing to do with your political views or emotions. That's basic prepping. Somebody wants what you have. They want to come take what you have. Are you going to fight for it? That is conventional warfare. Simple, right down to the point. As always, have a great day. And I'll be back once they start releasing stuff. Happy Friday.